So, you think medical billing is just about sending out invoices? Well, think again. It's really about managing the entire financial lifeblood of a healthcare organization. And today, we're going to look at the kind of strategic thinking that really separates a biller from a true financial pro. And right there, that's a huge distinction. Getting paid is just one piece of the puzzle. A real professional biller follows every single dollar, from that initial claim all the way to the final resolution. It's a pretty complex journey. You see, the stakes are just incredibly high. Every little decision creates a ripple effect, and it impacts everything: compliance, a patient's trust, and of course, whether the provider gets paid at all. And that's exactly why the Certified Professional Biller exam isn't just some vocabulary test. Nope, it's a test of your judgment. It's all about whether you understand the entire system and can make smart, ethical decisions on the fly. So that's what we're all about today. We're going to give you a strategic look at how we use a structured approach to help you master these complex situations so you can start thinking like a top-tier professional. So here's a question for you. Have you ever wondered why so many smart, dedicated people can study for months and still get stuck on these financial and compliance questions? What's the disconnect there? Well, these are the usual suspects, the common tripwires. It's so easy to mix up ethics with collections or, just memorize a term like pre-authorization without really getting its financial impact. This is exactly what happens when you learn all the parts, but not how they actually fit together. And this right here is the absolute heart of the problem. Studying in a vacuum, in isolated chunks, it just won't work. The CPB exam is designed to test your ability to make decisions within a connected, living, breathing financial system. Okay, so how do you build that kind of thinking, that integrated mindset? Well, we believe it's by mastering what we call financial control points. Let's dive into the first one. All right, let's take professional courtesy. Now, most people just see a simple discount, right? An expert sees a potential compliance minefield. You've got to consider things like Stark Law, have a written policy, and you better know the rules for federal beneficiaries. It's a very structured legal process. See? This is the kind of critical thinking the exam is really testing. It's not about the what, it's all about the when and the why. Knowing where that dividing line is, that's what separates a good biller from a great one. Okay, next up, collections. When a bill goes unpaid, a whole formal process kicks off. And whether it's handled in-house or by a third-party agency, it can seriously impact the patient's credit. And you gotta know, the whole shebang is governed by a major federal law, the FDCPA. And that leads to a really critical question, right? When exactly does a balance go from just being an internal billing issue to getting sent to collections? Is it after 90 days? Is it a certain dollar amount? The truth is, the answer is a mix of policy, procedure, and legal timelines. A certified pro needs to know this stuff cold. So what happens when medical debt just becomes too much? It can lead to bankruptcy. And this legal declaration can literally wipe away those medical bills, which for the provider is a huge deal because it severely limits their ability to ever recover that revenue. This is a scenario you will face. What do you do? Do you just write it off? Is there a legal process to follow? Can you still try to get paid? The answer? Oh, it's complex, and believe me, it has massive financial consequences. Now, payment plans, they can be a lifeline, right? A way to avoid collections and bankruptcy. But here's the thing, not all payment plans are created equal. A plan for emergency care is totally different from one for a planned non-emergency procedure. One might be interest-free, while the other could involve a third-party financing company. And here's where we gotta zoom out and think on a whole other level. Is a payment plan just a financial tool, or is it maybe a compliance safeguard? The real answer is, it's both. And finally, let's hit one of the biggest control points of all, pre-authorization. Think of it like the ultimate gatekeeper. It's the green light from the insurance company. If you miss this step, the financial consequences are immediate and they are severe. This right here can literally be $1 million question. So who pays the bill? The patient? Does the provider have to eat the cost? Can you appeal it? Getting this one wrong is one of the fastest ways to lose a ton of revenue. So we've just walked through 5 different concepts. But here's the real secret, the key to it all. They aren't 5 different topics. They're all connected. They're all financial control points in one single system. Pre-authorization is your starting gate.
Professional courtesy sets the ethical tone. Payment plans and collections are all about recovering what's owed. In bankruptcy, that's a potential final stop. You see how it all flows together? It's one big system.
And that is the key takeaway here. Success on the exam and in your career comes from understanding this interconnected system. It's about understanding how one little decision you make today can totally change your collections 6 months down the road. You know, this is a totally different way to learn. We're not talking about memorizing a bunch of rules. We're talking about learning how to think. It's about building your financial decision logic, your compliance awareness, and your expert-level judgment.
And that really is the core philosophy behind everything. You pass this exam not because you memorized a textbook, but because you actually get how healthcare finance really, truly operates in the real world. Look, this was just a small taste, a strategic preview. Are you ready to master the whole system? The full framework? It's all waiting for you inside.